Dear Chosen One, have you ever wondered why your presence provokes such intense curiosity and even investigation? Why is it that some people scrutinize your every move, questioning your motives or try to uncover flaws that simply aren't there? This is no accident. There is a divine reason you are here at this very moment. And what you are about to hear is not merely a message, but a revelation straight from heaven. Imagine for a moment that the key to unlocking your destiny has been hidden in plain sight all along. A key that, if missed, could alter your course forever. And now, it is time to understand that when God removes His chosen, the world rarely notices until it is too late. The silence after the storm may seem calm, but often it is the eerie stillness that precedes judgment. Have you ever sensed that your presence was shielding others from consequences they had not even realized were coming? Perhaps you have felt that when you step away, everything begins to unravel. Throughout history, divine assignments have shaped families, communities, and even entire nations. Yet many mistake God's protection for mere luck, His warnings for insignificant noise, and His grace as mere coincidence. Until the moment the chosen are gone, many fail to grasp the weight of what they're missing. When Lot left Sodom and destruction followed, as recorded in Genesis, or when Jesus left the temple and devastation came years later, people only realize too late the impact of that absence. Before we go any further, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you who have supported this message through your generous super thanks. Your contributions are not merely appreciated. They make a profound difference by allowing this truth to reach those who need it most. And to every listener, whether you donate or simply receive this message in your spirit, know that your presence here is a blessing. May God multiply your blessings in ways beyond what you can imagine. If this message resonates with you, if you feel the weight of your journey and the undeniable shift in your spirit, then please comment 999 below as your declaration of readiness and affirmation that you understand your divine assignment. Now, let's talk about what it means when God declares that your mission is over and that it's time for you to leave. When God removes His chosen from a place, it is never a random exit or a mere departure. It is a divine event, a prophetic alarm that signals that the time for a final judgment or transformation is near. When God calls you to leave, the world will feel that void deeply. Your absence will be like a missing piece in a puzzle, and only then will those who took your presence for granted realize how vital you truly were. There are several reasons why this exit is not an accident, but a clear sign of what is to come. First, understand that you were never placed here simply for comfort. You are not sent to blend in or to be merely accepted by the masses. You were sent to be a collision, a divine disruption whose very presence challenges the status quo. Have you ever noticed how doors that seem wide open for others suddenly shut in your face? How do people react when you enter a room? Often, they become uneasy or defensive because your light exposes their hidden darkness. Much like Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace, yet never fully accepted as one of them. Your unique calling makes you a paradox in the eyes of a world steeped in complacency. Your life, dear chosen one, has never been about providing comfort. It has always been about confrontation with the truth. Your presence unsettles those who prefer living in ignorance and deception. You were not called here to be loved by everyone. You were sent to deliver a warning, a reminder that darkness has an expiration date, and because your mission carries with it a divine mandate. There comes a time when your presence must be withdrawn as part of God's strategic plan. When your mission is complete, God removes you not as an afterthought, but as a deliberate, divine strategy. Reflect on the story of Lot, who was pulled out of Sodom. Had Lot stayed, destruction would have come immediately. The same applies to you. Your departure signals that the crisis is about to reach its climax. Some will wake up and realize too late that what they resisted was the only thing that held impending judgment at bay. Others may continue in their blindness, unaware that your removal is a final warning before consequences fall. Consider also that your exit is not a retreat. It is a tactical move. Sometimes, when God calls his chosen ones to move on, it means that their work in that particular place has reached its peak, and remaining would hinder both their mission and the unfolding of a new chapter. Have you ever felt that pull to leave long before you fully understood why? Perhaps you noticed a sense of disconnection, like doors that once opened with ease now suddenly closing, or people who once welcomed you now turning cold. That is a sign that God's plan is not about you staying indefinitely. You are meant to be a catalyst, not a permanent fixture. Your presence was there to shift the atmosphere, to expose long-held deceptions, and to prompt the people around you to rise up or face their own consequences. Often, the very presence of God's chosen ones serves as a covering, a temporary shield that delays judgment. And when that covering is removed, the true consequences of ignored warnings begin to fall. History shows us that when leaders who bring divine truth are taken away, people eventually come to recognize what they lost. They realize that the peace, protection, and stability they once enjoyed were directly linked to the presence of the messenger. But by then it's too late. The ripple effect of your departure sets in motion a chain of events that can lead to judgment. It is not uncommon for people to take for granted the blessing of your presence. They may never truly appreciate the comfort, the guidance, or the integrity that you bring until you're no longer there. Think of the countless examples throughout history. Joseph in Egypt, whose presence brought prosperity. Moses, whose leadership kept the Israelites safe. Even modern examples like innovators and leaders whose absence was felt only when their influence waned. Your impact is not simply measured by what you say, but by the undeniable shift in every space you occupy. And when you finally leave, the void you create will be a testimony to the power of your mission. Another key aspect of this divine removal is that your presence in someone's life is not meant to be permanent. You were strategically positioned in various situations, whether in families, communities, or even in workplaces, to serve as the answer to a crisis that no one else could resolve. When your assignment is complete, your departure is a necessary part of the process. It does not diminish what you have done. Rather, it underscores that your role was always meant to be transient, a dynamic spark that ignites change and then moves on so that the system can transform. In this way, your exit is as important as your presence. It is a final, powerful declaration that the time for change has come and that those left behind must now face the consequences of their own choices. Let us also consider the idea that you were never sent to simply be adored or to live in comfort. Many might assume that being chosen by God would mean a life free of struggle and criticism. Yet, history and scripture repeatedly remind us that divine calling comes with resistance. People often reject what challenges their beliefs or exposes their hidden failings. Jesus himself was mocked, betrayed, and ultimately crucified because he challenged the prevailing norms. If the world could not bear his truth, why would it suddenly welcome your light? The truth is, your mission has never been about winning hearts through comfort. It has been about shaking people out of their complacency and forcing them to confront the truth. And that is why, in many cases, your departure is met with mixed reactions. Some may regret your absence, realizing too late what a blessing you were, while others remain too entrenched in their own deception to notice. Even as you prepare to step away, you must remember that your work has never been just about you. Your mission has always been a divine assignment, a means to make sure that truth is known, that warning is given, and that the path to righteousness is made clear. Many will only recognize the impact of your presence when you are gone. The void you leave behind is not simply an absence. It is a sign, a prophetic declaration that the season is changing and judgment or transformation is imminent. Consider how in history, when great leaders like Moses or King David stepped away from a particular community, the resulting changes were dramatic. Their departure signified that a cycle had ended, that it was now time for a new phase of divine intervention. Your departure, dear chosen one, is not a failure on your part. Rather, it is a confirmation of your fulfillment of the assignment given to you by God. You were never meant to hold everything together forever. Instead, you were sent as a temporary disruption, a divine catalyst, to break through cycles of stagnation and to force people to confront truths they have long resisted. When you leave, know that it is not the end of your influence. Rather, it marks the beginning of a new chapter, one where the legacy you have built continues to speak volumes even in your absence. I want you to reflect deeply on the fact that your mission has been a profound demonstration of obedience. It is not measured by how long you remain in one place, but by the impact of your presence while you were there. The trials you have endured, the opposition you have faced, the sacrifices you have made, all of these serve as evidence that your work was divinely orchestrated. Your journey was always designed to prepare you for a moment when your departure would set off a chain reaction, alerting those who once ignored you that the time for repentance has passed. To all of you who have been inspired by these words and have found strength in this message, I invite you to declare your recognition of the divine timing by commenting 999 below. Let this be your affirmation that you understand the truth, that when God removes his chosen, it is not a mere exit, but a pivotal moment that reshapes destinies and calls forth accountability. Your engagement, your comments, your likes, your shares is not only a testament to your faith, but also a way to spread this truth to many who need to hear it most. As you consider your own journey, reflect on the moments when you felt compelled to leave, a sense of restlessness, a push from inside, a divine nudge that told you it was time to move on. Often these moments may have seemed like losses or abrupt endings, but they were, in fact, the precise timing of God's strategy. Just as Abraham left his homeland without knowing exactly where he was going, or as Paul moved from city to city following the Spirit's call, your departures are part of a greater plan. They are strategic moves that ensure God's purposes are fulfilled, even if it means leaving behind what once seemed familiar and comforting. It may be difficult to face the reality that sometimes people will only recognize your value when you're gone, that your presence was the very thing that held destructive forces at bay, that maintained a delicate balance in a troubled system. But remember, your work was never about receiving perpetual praise or basking in the approval of those who are too comfortable in their own deceptions. Your mission was to be a warning, to shake people out of their indifference, and to pave the way for transformational change. And now, as you prepare to step away, let that truth resonate in your heart. What you have done here was not for glory or personal gain. It was to ensure that there would be no excuse when judgment comes. This is the moment when your legacy takes on even greater significance. Your influence, even after your departure, will continue to ripple through the lives you touched. The truth, the wisdom, and the divine inspiration that you have shared will remain as a lasting testimony. Like the great visionaries of the past, Joseph, Moses, David, Esther, and even non-biblical icons such as Nikola Tesla or Harriet Tubman, your impact transcends time. Their true greatness was only fully acknowledged after they were gone. When the world finally recognized that what once seemed ordinary was, in fact, extraordinary. Your mission's end is not an end at all. It is the beginning of a new phase. It is a signal to the world that the protective covering that once shielded destructive forces is now lifted, and the consequences of ignoring divine warnings will soon be fully realized. And while many may be unprepared for this reckoning, know that your role in it was not diminished by your departure. Rather, your departure validates the truth of your divine assignment. You were called to bring about change, to expose lies, and to deliver the message that the time for comfort has passed and that true transformation requires action. As you now step away, trust that the impact you have made will continue to resonate. The people who once dismissed your efforts will eventually face the reality of what they lost, the peace you brought, the hope you ignited, and the protection you provided. For many, your absence will serve as a wake-up call, a final reminder that what was once present and sustaining is now gone. And with it, the consequences of their neglect will soon follow. Realize that your departure is a divine repositioning. The world is always shifting, and sometimes the best way to catalyze long overdue change is to remove the element that was holding the status quo in place. You were never meant to fix everything or to serve as a permanent solution. Instead, you were sent as an instrument of transformation, a temporary but powerful disruption that paves the way for a future defined by truth and righteousness. When you leave, the systems that once relied on your protective presence will crumble, and people will be forced to confront the reality of their lives without your guidance. Now, I ask you, will you embrace the truth that your mission is over? Will you trust that God has already decided your next step? When God calls you to leave, it is not a retreat, but a necessary transition, a signal that your work in that chapter has reached its conclusion. It is your moment to walk away with confidence, knowing that every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt was part of a larger purpose. Your departure is not a failure. It is a fulfillment of the divine plan set before you from the beginning. Take a moment to reflect on all the lives you have touched, all the hearts you have stirred, and all the seeds you have planted for future growth. Even though you may no longer physically remain in one place, your influence will continue to ripple outward, transforming countless lives for the better. Your work has been a divine appointment, a sacred duty entrusted to you by God. And as you prepare to leave, remember that nothing you have accomplished can be taken away. The testimonies of your triumph, your unwavering faith, and your resilience in the face of opposition will remain as an eternal legacy. To every chosen one listening, if these words resonate with your heart, if you recognize that the time has come for you to step away because your mission is complete, then please, in a bold declaration of faith, comment 999 below. Let this be your public affirmation that you understand your divine assignment, that you trust in God's timing, and that you are ready for the next phase of your calling. Your voice is not just heard. It transforms the spiritual realm and propels heaven's promises into reality. Remember, dear chosen one, when God removes his chosen, it is more than a departure. It is an event that changes the course of history. Your silence, your exit, is not a void, but a profound message that the time for accountability, change, and judgment is upon those who have ignored the truth. The legacy you leave behind will serve as a wake-up call for those who once took your presence for granted. And though the world may only understand your value once you are gone, know that in that absence, the fullness of God's plan unfolds, and every life you have touched will testify to the divine favor and protection that once surrounded you. Stand firm in the knowledge that your mission was never about clinging to a comfortable place. It was about boldly proclaiming the truth, even when it meant facing rejection or opposition. Your departure is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is a crowning moment that confirms the certainty of God's promises. You are chosen, you are anointed, and your mission has reached its appointed end, because what you accomplished here was already written by His hand. And now, as you step into the next season, carry with you the unassailable truth that nothing on earth can diminish the power of God's plan for you. Your legacy is eternal. Your influence, though it may not be visible in one place forever, will continue to echo in the lives of those you have inspired and in the hearts of all who come to know the truth of God's Word. Even as you leave, know that the seeds you have planted will grow into mighty trees, that the light you have ignited will continue to shine, and that every effort made in obedience to God's call has fulfilled a divine purpose. Your mission is over in this season, but the impact of your work will live on, transforming the world in ways beyond measure. Walk in peace, dear chosen one, and trust that the next chapter in your journey is already prepared. The time has come to release what is no longer needed, to step away with grace, and to embrace the promise that God has designed a future for you even more glorious than your past. May you go forth with the assurance that your destiny is secure, your purpose is unfolding, and your legacy, written by the hand of the Almighty, will continue to inspire and uplift many generations to come. Thank you for being here, for sharing your journey, and for allowing this message to remind you of the unyielding truth. When God removes His chosen, it is not just an ending. It is the prologue to a transformative new beginning. May His light continue to surround you, His wisdom guide you, and His favor go before you as you step boldly into the destiny that is already yours. Share this message with those who need to hear the truth. Comment 999 to declare your faith, and know that you are deeply appreciated, divinely chosen, and utterly unstoppable. This is your moment. The crown, the legacy, and the divine appointment were all meant for you. Walk in that knowledge, and let your light shine as a beacon of hope and as a testimony to the eternal promises of God. You are chosen, you are powerful, and your mission, though now complete in this season, will forever be a part of the divine tapestry that shapes the future. May God bless you abundantly, now and forever. Walk in His truth, live in His grace, and step confidently into the new season of His plan.